Well, welcome back again. Here is our very beautiful property that we're very blessed to be on. What you're kind of looking at here is a very rough area that we're going to be working with here. So, my plan is I've got some, line laid out here, and, we're still sitting on a very warm 42 degrees here on March 15th. So pretty early. But when you're starting from scratch, you got to start early. So what we have here is my boy and my dog over there, but this is about a very uneven, about 80 foot on one side if we're connecting with the fence up there, and then about 60 foot on this side, and then around 40, 44 across. It's rough. It's a garden. It's not going to be perfect. But my plan is we're going to have some fences, gonna make an investment. There's a lot of deer and wildlife around here. Gonna fence this in, just 6-foot deer fence and wire and 4x4s and whatnot. And oh good, yeah, mess up the lines, whatever. I did make one raised bed out of these cuttings from a neighbor down the road who has a mill. I think it looks fairly nice, and this is, I had to rush and make one so that I could get some garlic in the ground. So that's what will be popping up there sometime in the next couple months. But yeah, so we got enough space here to the other line over there that you can faintly see to have two more raised beds that way, so 3. And in between here, we will have about 5 foot, which will be to accommodate a cattle panel trellis. I've grown with those in the past, and it's a game changer. I mean, you take a plant that would take up 3-4 foot of space, and now you grow it up this cattle panel arch trellis that will go from bed to bed. And I mean, you've just saved so much space. You can grow so much. So anyway, so hopefully you can see my vision. We'll have 9 of this size raised bed, which is about 4x6. I mean, it's not perfect, as you can probably tell. It's not completely perfect, but we will be having 3 rows of 3. Over here, still deciding. I got corn ideas and pumpkin/squash ideas, so maybe a couple larger, like 4x8 raised beds, a long way, and maybe even some fruits and vegetables up there. But yeah, so that's the idea. Getting ready to get our stuff together to fill up the beds eventually in the next month or 2 and go from there. So yeah. Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the counselor's garden, or soon to be garden. Been out here messing around a little yesterday, and it looks a little bit like crap right now, but it's going to come together. I've just been doing a little leveling. It's not going to be perfect. This is sloped down from that way. I tried to get it a little less sloped, but I partially think it might look nice, a little sloped. We can get the beds level by digging them in a little bit, and then, it's a very, very subtle slope, but it might look nice. So I'm counting on that because, it's a garden. It's not going to be perfect, but I don't know if we can really see it here. There is a pretty big hump right here that I kind of, right around there, it humps down into a pretty big dip. I might want to, play with the tractor a little more and sink the teeth in at that green spot and pull it this way a little bit. But the only issue with that is from that bed to there is pretty level. So I might just grab a scoop of, dirt from somewhere and go from there. It is a little clumpy. My plan is to put some landscape fabric down, or some weed blocker. It'll be clumpy, but in the future sometime there will be wood chips put down, and usually in the past when I've done this, didn't really worry about the clumps that much. There's going to be clumps. I'm not going to go through this pretty big spot and pick out all the grass clumps. That's just stupid. Wow, didn't record the process, but 5 hours one day we got the fabric down. Who knows how many hours into the posts, and about 1.5 feet. Pretty much always hit some pretty decent sized rocks because we live on a mountain. trying to get to 2 feet for the posts, but never gonna be perfect. Well, here we are another few days later, and I've got the fabric laid down, fence posts laid out, and one side posted. It's been a bit of a rough one. These holes, I rented an auger, but at a foot to a foot and a half every single hole hit rocks. Very irritating. My beautiful office hands are getting all torn up from this, but it's not too bad. It feels really good to do some hard work, hard physical work, that is. And I've also set up kind of one of the trellises just to see how it will look here. It's a little bulged out because I don't have the proper supports, but here in the middle, to pull it out, I'm gonna put a fence, like a regular metal fence post to kind of do some support. And I did try to do, staples, but they're just too dinky for this gauge. So got to get some more heavy duty staples to bang in with a hammer. But garlic's blowing up, ready to plant. Stay tuned. All right, well, we're here. I don't even honestly remember when the last time I recorded. It's been at least a week, I think. We're April 23rd now. Between working full time and getting these up, got a little carried away and didn't record. Busted and got all of the wood and fence posts in the ground. Some of them are a little wobbly, but if you put weight into them, they don't budge. It's usually the little tiny wobbles. So I think that they're good enough to hold a garden fence. I mean, I don't got any bowls running through it or anything. So we got them all up, and I started the wire along this fence line, which is an interesting process. It's definitely a not standard process. See, if I wouldn't have gone along the fence line, I would have had to go straight from here, and you can kind of see that would have left like a weird, however big that is, that's anywhere from like a foot right here all the way up to 8 foot over there, and even more, right here in the middle here. So it would have left a weird pocket there, and I wanted to tie into this fence. So what I've done is rather than rip up all these, which I probably should have done, but whatever, 4x4s are expensive, I tied into just every other one-ish and used the supporting planks in between to kind of hold it firm. And I mean, as you can see, it wobbles a little bit, but it's staying in place. It's not going anywhere. I've gone around and tried to repack and pound rocks in and stuff, but man, it's a little hard getting some of these. This one's a lot more sturdy left to right than it is forward and back. But anyway, been using this fence post, or this fence wire stretcher that I made, 2x4s ish, bolted together on the top and bottom, kind of run that through it and hook it to the tractor or hook it to another post and tension it. Along the straightaway spots here, it's going to be much easier. I can just drag it out to the end, hook it to the tractor, stretch it, and staple it on. But since this is curved, I have to, I tried to go down there and do it, but it's just curved, and it's like I got to go with the curve. So anyway, that's what we got. And I'm getting into my planting time here. Like lettuce and stuff could already be out, but we do have some deer and stuff, and I don't want to go too hard and lose everything. But got some good looking garlic here. Anyway, hoping to finish up the fence in the next couple days, and yeah, cut to a finished fence at least. Here we are again, April 25th. Been kind of working my butt off, I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, whole thing's definitely been harder than I expected, thinking I'm just gonna go into it and wing it, which I have. But so been working on the wire, stretching the wire. It's always something though. This weird curved spot, had to stretch as I go, and I tried to, stretch this whole side here and cut out the gate spots, would not recommend. As soon as I cut out that one over there, I'll zoom in a little, you can see how jonky that one is. Jonky, that's my word of the day. That was so loose, and like, gosh, it's just like trying to tighten it and get that one little piece. Definitely tighten as you go. Like that side over there, way better. So regardless, I mean, this isn't gonna keep deer out. I mean, that's what it's for. You know, the panels are a little loose. You know, over here, I'm gonna have to cut another one out for a double gate here. But I mean, I'm putting some fair pressure on it and it's moving, but I've already easily put my whole weight against them and they don't move even from the inside. I mean, they move, but they don't give. So we're getting close. Definitely not easy, but not the worst. Getting ready to clean up though. Got some rain coming down, and I'll show you my messy one over here. You know, as we get closer to this gate spot, this one's pretty loose. I mean, it's got quite a bit of give to it. It doesn't come off though, which is good. I've just been busting my butt, so I don't really want to redo them. This one's hideous. I tried some stupid thing with that weaved in there to tighten it. Not the greatest. It tightened it a little bit, but it's, you know, as you can see, floppy. But it'll do its job good enough, I think. If I decide someday to change it, I can, but I'd rather just, you know, get this up decently and get to planning. So hopefully the next fade you see is me with the gates getting put up and getting going here. All right. Well, here we are. Let's say 87.5% finished. Still have a wire, just a strand I was planning on running to the top. I think that'd look nice, but that'll come. I'm gonna work on the gates and getting this enclosed. Had to do a couple junky things over there. Had to move that one that way a little bit, and that just helps stabilize it anyway. And then for some reason, that one, pain in the butt. Worst part of the entire thing. So anyway, we made it. Some of them are looser than others, but I mean, I can put my whole weight on any of them, even the super loose ones. Not that I have done that on all of them, but yeah, we're getting close. So next is just to build a couple gates, and we're gonna have a double 4-footer-ish right there, 4-footer there, and a 4-footer there. I was gonna do another one over there near where I hope the compost pile is, kind of next to my, you know, mess of a greenhouse thing. But when I did this one, it just totally slackened up and ruined everything, so I'm not gonna mess with that. So we've got one big enough to get equipment through right there, and that's what we need. So yeah, got my lumber I've been unloading here. I'm gonna do some measurements and stuff right around a little less than 4 foot, and then right around 6 foot or a little more for some of them. I'm wanting it to be, you know, at least a couple inches off the ground because it is a bit of a slope. Well, never mind the mess. It's always the funnest part of these projects is trying to keep track of all your tools and junk as you just make a big mess. But we've got gates up. We are done for now with the fence. As you can see, it's far from perfect. You know, we've got a little bit of overhang there. Those two are, you know, off a little, but yeah, so took a strand of wire to run around the top. This is just mainly, it doesn't serve much of a purpose other than to confuse the deer. If we go over here though, I can show you this gate. It is, it's just too much of a slope here, but it ends up working out. This one over here is extremely level, and that's the one that's gonna be opened most. This other one is not level. There's no way to make it level with this, but you know, this opens. This one's locked into place here with one of these bolts into the ground, 3 or 4 inches. But yeah, this will mainly stay shut, but it's cool to have a little bit of easy access just in case. But mainly, I mean, this is 8 foot wide, maybe even a little more than 8 foot wide, so you can probably fit just about anything in there. You know, the last thing I did here is I rigged together a freestanding spigot in here. You know, it's quite a pain to try to find a video or tutorial on this. I mean, all I've got is those hydrants that are wonderful, but I'm not digging a 3, 4, 6, whatever foot hole in the ground. This is like gonna come unplugged there, gonna come unplugged there, all the water's gonna drain out and not have to worry about this freezing anyway. Like, I'm not gonna keep this going all winter, obviously, but that's to run the drip off of and to have just a hose in there without having to go, you know, way down there or way up there to get a spigot. So we're on to clean up, building 6 more beds of that size, 2 8x4s, and finally taking a break. So the next pan you'll see is, or the next fade you'll see rather, is hopefully a full garden, or in the very least full of these ones. So it's been a little bit since I've posted, but this is, shoot, I don't know, 3 months since the first few. We've got off to a good summer. Fence is done, garden is done for now. Clearly I've left myself room to grow, and it's hard not to dive all in, but this is what we're looking like after a really scorcher of a week. I mean, mid to upper hundreds. Sorry, Siri's talking to me. Mid to upper hundreds, 105, 110. And I was worried, but actually it's caused stuff to blow up. Look at these potatoes. This is insane. This is after I covered, you know, like did the method where you plant them deep and keep covering it up as it pops up. Like, that's insane. They're like, from that, they're like 2, 3 foot high. It's pretty big. But tomatoes, this giant cluster of stuff is Romas. You can kind of see we've got a few. One's a bunch of different varieties going up the trellises. Some golden cherries, some bigger cherries, some just all sorts. We've got zucchinis that are just going nuts as zucchinis do. We've got basil that I'm purposefully letting go to seed. My seed that I've been using this year, actually this one I might be able to just pick, but my seed that I've been using this year is from a very long time ago, 4 or 5 years, and it's still very viable, but I used the rest of it. So I'm taking this chance in the hot spell to collect more. This is actually a squash plant there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm just very impressed. You know, even these beets that are kind of cooler season, I planted them late, they're taking off for the first time ever. In my experience, my peppers are fruiting. I've sucked at peppers, but one, and if I can zoom in on that one, you can kind of start to see where some are forming. Just very exciting beans coming up. Just very overall pleased with this. Well, I wanted to do a little bit of a last shot here. We're getting towards the end of September, and honestly, surprisingly still going well. You know, it's been 40s at night, getting pretty close. Sorry, there's a cow going nuts in the background. Got tomatoes still going. I even had a melon still ripen, even though it's been 40 and not getting above 70. This is it. This is probably the last one of the year, except for, you know, maybe a shot of the barren, everything gone. I mean, we got pumpkins still going nuts over there, and corn that we're still going for. Some flowers and stuff over there, and peppers. Pepper surprisingly still taking off. Oh, it's been a good year. We've been learning to can and stuff too, but I'm very thankful for how this has gone. By the way, these tomatoes, I cut them back to like, I don't know, that level, and they still just like decided they'd go back off, but it looks great in my opinion. But this is it. This is what we got. I think it's gone well. Next year, right there, hoping to do a hoop house. Gonna get a cheap garbage one and try to make it work like I've seen people do on here. But anyway, hope this series of clips has been cool. I know it'll be cool to me in the future just to see where it's come from, where the gardens come from. So keep gardening, guys.